All right, you guys, we're going to be starting this right now. So thank you guys for attending. We're going to be shutting this down here, and we are going to be jumping on this bandwagon today. So what we're going to talk about today is kind of cool. I actually got a couple things that are pretty cool picked out to talk about, and we're going to talk about primarily suretyship, a shenanigan suretyship story. We're going to start it with a story as soon as we give full disclosure here, because yesterday I got in trouble with YouTube for showing a video that they didn't like me to show, and there was no malintent there, and I gave them, well, let's talk a little equity. They sent me a notice that said they gave me a notice, and I said, well, I don't know what your notice is, but that's not equitable notice, and I don't agree with it, so I'm waiting on a response. And I'll let you guys know exactly what their response is and what it says. So I'm not worried about it. Like I said, you want to come over here into equity, then come over here into equity. We can talk equity. So we're also going to talk about, in this program, we're going to talk about another very interesting thing that is not talked about much, and that's how the Rockefeller family is associated with, well, most of the pharmaceutical industry. Oops, I'm sorry about that. I got some light issues over here. Okay, well, I don't know if that's any better. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the Rockefeller family, and we're going to talk about the protocols of the meeting of the Zionist men of wisdom. It's actually a publication that was openly made by the family, and I hope this doesn't. I don't get people in trouble. Like, everything I'm showing you guys, just as full disclosure, is just on the internet. It's available on sites and media sites that are available out there. I'm just going to show you where they are. And here's my full disclosure.
The following program contains mature content and is the truth. No part herein is intended to be legal advice and is for entertainment purposes only. Audience discretion is advised. Okay,
so I can see you guys, your copies and everything. Cool. So I can see your comments on YouTube. I think I can see them all on all platforms, but I don't know if what it counts. Okay, I don't know the people that it counts that are here. So anyways, let's talk a little bit about the suretyship part of it, and then we're going to go into. I'm going to talk about at the end. I'm going to talk about the Corona Rothschild protocols, because it's actually documented that everything was already a planned issue. It was already something that was planned ahead of time. So we're going to talk about this right here. We're going to talk about this document. Let me go back here. So it's called the protocols. We're going to talk about this document, and then we're going to go into we'll go into some other things over here as far as documents. Yeah, we're going to talk about agree with thine adversary, of course. That's what I started out. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, because that's the first thing I said. But here we go. So the first story that I'm teaching you guys is just it's a little story about well, a metaphoric story. How about that? It's metaphoric, and it's intended to teach you a lesson through a storytelling. So let's start. It's called Lena's Bayou Brouhaha, a suretyship shenanigan. In the heart of the Louisiana Bayou, where the air is thick with the scent of magnolias and the symphony of cicadas, lived a fiery young lady named Lena. Lena was renowned for her spirited independence, a dash of stubbornness, and a knack for questioning everything, especially old sayings. One biblical adage that particularly irked her was, agree with thine adversary quickly. Matthew chapter 5, verse 25. To Lena, this sounded like an express ticket to being bamboozled by every silver-tongued rogue in the parish. One sweltering summer afternoon, Lena's skepticism was put to the test. As she lounged on her porch, sipping sweet tea and swatting at the persistent mosquitoes, a stranger meandered up her driveway. He was a man of indeterminate age, sporting a slick smile and an eye twinkle that screamed mischief. He introduced himself as Beauregard the Third, but folks around the bayou just call him Beau. Beau, it seemed, was in a bit of a jam. He had debts, a whole swamp of them, and in the true charming scoundrel fashion, he wove a tale of woe so intricate that even the crawfish would be impressed. Despite her better judgment, Lena found herself caught in the web of his honeyed words. But true to form, she refused to agree with Beau quickly. "You see, Beau," Lena drawled, "I'm not one to agree with adversaries in a hurry. No, sir, I take my sweet time just like molasses in January." Beau, sensing an opportunity, played along. "Well, Miss Lena, how about we strike a deal? You become my surety just temporarily. Mind you, until I can pay off my debts. It's a win-win situation." Now, for those unacquainted with suretyship, becoming a surety means you guarantee someone else's debt. If they fail to pay, you're on the hook for the whole kit and caboodle. It's a risky business akin to juggling flaming torches while riding a unicycle. Lena, ever the skeptic, decided to test this stranger. "All right, Beau, but just for a little while. You better pay up or I'm coming after you with my granddaddy's shotgun." Beau, flashing his pearly whites, agreed. And thus Lena became the surety for Beau's mountain of debt. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Beau, true to form, vanished faster than the catfish in a creek, leaving Lena to fend off the creditors who descended upon her like flies in a gumbo pot. Lena's porch soon became the gathering spot for a revolving door of debt collectors, each more persistent than the last. They came with ledgers, names, and demands. It was the parade of woes, and Lena was the unwitting grand marshal. Each collector had a story, each more colorful than the last, trying to guilt or threaten Lena into paying up. In her struggle, Lena found herself reflecting on that old piece of scripture she'd so readily dismissed. Agree with thine adversary quickly. It seemed wasn't just some dusty old saying, it was sage advice. Had she agreed with Beau quickly, she might have negotiated better terms or sniffed out his deceit sooner. With a rueful smile and a shake of her head, Lena paid off Beau's debts one by one. She worked hard, sold a bit of her land, and leaned on the support of her bayou community. It was a tough lesson, but one she learned well. Lena's story wasn't just about her stubbornness. It was also highlighted in the importance of coming to the table with clean hands, good faith, and honor. In equity jurisprudence, the principle of clean hands mandates that every party seeking equitable relief must themselves be free of wrongdoing in the matter at hand. Lena, in her dealings with Beau, might have been better served had she adhered more closely to these principles. Equity jurisprudence, rooted in the fairness of justice, demands that those seeking its protection must act honorably and with integrity. The clean hands doctrine ensures that the courts do not reward deceitful or unethical behavior. Lena, although wronged by Beau, had to maintain her integrity through her ordeal. By taking on Beau's debt without due diligence, she found herself in a precarious situation that could have been avoided. Acting in good faith means dealing honestly and fairly with others. If Lena had approached her situation with Beau with more caution and integrity, she might have avoided the whole debacle. Instead of acting like a ward of the state, someone relying on others to solve her problems, Lena could have taken a more proactive and responsible stance. With a rueful smile and a shake of her head, Lena paid off Beau's debts one by one. She worked hard, sold a bit of her land, and leaned on the support of her bayou community. Her friends and neighbors, who had always admired her independent spirit, rallied around her. They helped her with fundraisers, offered labor, and provided moral support. It was a testament to the strength of the community and the value of maintaining good relationships. As Lena navigated the complexities of suretyship, she discovered the importance of equity's broader principles: fairness, good faith, and mutual respect. Her story became a living example of these values, teaching others in her community about the dangers of hasty decisions and the importance of thorough due diligence. Lena's tale soon became a local legend. Folks would gather around and listen to her story, laughing and shaking their heads at her stubbornness. She'd end every retelling with a twinkle in her eye and a bit of Cajun wisdom. "Y'all remember," she'd say, "if a smooth-talking stranger comes at you to be their surety. Agree with thine adversary quickly, or else you might end up in a whole lot of gators on your porch. Lena's experience also underscored the value of equity jurisprudence in everyday life. By acting with clean hands and good faith, individuals can protect themselves and others from deceit and unfair practices. Lena's ordeal with Bo highlighted the necessity of these principles, as her initial skepticism and eventual realization provided a cautionary tale about the importance of equity. In equity jurisprudence, the maxim, "He who comes into equity must come with clean hands," was in Cameron versus Murdoch in 1895. It remains a cornerstone. Lena's story served as a reminder of the ethical behavior, integrity, and the fairness that's paramount in all dealings. Her transformation from a stubborn skeptic to a wise, community-supported figure exemplifies the positive outcomes of adhering to these principles. In conclusion, Lena's story is more than just a humorous tale of stubbornness and misadventure. It's a powerful lesson in the importance of equity jurisprudence, clean hands, and good faith. By approaching situations with integrity and fairness, individuals can navigate with the trickiest of circumstances with honor. So the next time a charming Rouge comes your way with promises of easy gains, remember Lena's lesson. Agree with thine adversary quickly, come with clean hands, and always keep your granddaddy's shotgun handy. So that is the conclusion of that part of our story, okay? So I hope it gives a little bit of light onto the relationship of suretyship, and just a little bit of fun and humor thrown into that. So I'm going to go on to something else, and I'm going to show you guys something here. Let me go to share. And I'm going to go right over here. Let's see. This is where I want to go, right here. Okay, cool. I don't think I need audio for this, guys, so I'm going to go here. Okay, so this is a website called Global Data, and this is the top 10 pharma companies in the U.S. market by capitalization. Okay, you guys can see that. So it's Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly, AbbVie Incorporated, Merck Incorporated, and Pfizer Incorporated. Those are the top 5, okay? This is all I'm showing you guys right here, okay? This is all I want you to see. That's just 2023, okay? So I don't know, like, we're not talking about anything current. I'm just giving you what it is here. And this is just a fact so that you guys can see something that's available on the internet, okay? So with that being said, the Rockefeller family has been long associated with pharmaceutical industry, particularly through ownership of Standard Oil. And in the 20th century, John D. Rockefeller established a trust. And this is about trust. That's why we're talking about this. But it controlled most of the oil refineries in the United States. It included those involved in producing petrochemicals for the pharmaceutical industry. And the monopoly allowed the family to amass a lot of wealth and power, which they've used to influence different industries, including healthcare and medicine. One way, and okay, so let's be clear on this and be fair, because this is not about finding someone to blame about anything, okay? These people, like anyone who, well, gains wisdom, has an opportunity to capitalize on that wisdom, and in some ways they've done that. So we can't fault them for creating something. Now, the intent behind it and what you could change, maybe we have our different perceptions on that, and nobody's arguing that. Okay, I give everybody, you guys all have your own opportunity to your own opinion. I want you to have your own established opinion, but there's certain facts, and that's all we're talking about today. So I'm not speculating, and we're not creating any sort of theories or conspiracies or anything like that. I'm not trying to, we're not trying to create any fear in anyone. I'm just trying to make you guys aware of where stuff is and where you can find it, okay? So one way in which the family exercised control over the industry was through ownership of Standard Oil. In 1911, the Supreme Court ruled that this trust was an illegal monopoly and ordered its breakup. But the family's influence in the oil industry continued through other means. They just changed it. include investments in petrochemicals and pharmaceuticals. In the early 20th century, the family established IG Farben, a German chemical company that produced synthetic rubber and gasoline during World War II. Interesting, huh? So you create a problem, create a solution, create things that are involved in the solution, and then you create the company that puts that out and then tell people they need to invest money in that stuff, and then you get paid. Isn't that a monopoly, right? So it included for support for development of drugs like penicillin and polio vaccine. Now, I can't show you guys on here, but I can show you guys on my website, and I will, where if you guys look back into the ailments or the deaths that occurred in the early 1900s, they were all, what it was is there was an injection that was given to people, and then they were transported to other places, and then everyone got infected, and it killed a whole bunch of people. And that was blamed as a virus, and it wasn't. It was actually something that was created because they created the fear, and then they were telling people that. That's the fact. I mean, I have video that is conclusive on that, and I'll show that in the website eventually. I want to make sure that we're respecting, even though, I mean, like there's good and there's bad guys, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to go and do bad things or negative things. I want to give people an opportunity to speak up before I put it out there. And not that I'm just telling them, hey, this is what I plan on doing. So it's not like, do I have somebody's permission to do it? Because, you guys created this system, not me. I'm just a passer through. People ask me, where are you from? And I tell them straight up, I'm from heaven. I'm not here permanently. I'm leaving again. When my time is ready, I'm leaving. Okay, so the family's been involved in the management and ownership of pharmaceutical companies. David Rockefeller died in 2017. He was the director of Chase Manhattan, which invested heavily in the pharmaceutical industry. His son, Richard, is known for his involvement in the pharmaceutical industry as the former executive at Pfizer. Okay, there's several business links and connections with the Rockefeller family and major pharmaceutical companies. The family held significant shares in companies such as Merck and Company, Johnson & Johnson, and Eli Lilly and Company. Additionally, David Rockefeller was a member of the board of directors at Shearing Plow Corporation, which is now part of Merck and Company. Moreover, the Rockefeller family has also been involved in the regulation of pharmaceutical industry through their connections to government agencies and policymakers. For instance, John D. Rockefeller Jr., who died in 1960, served the International Health Commission in 1927, which later became the World Health Organization. You guys seeing the connection? In conclusion, it can be argued that the Rockefeller family has had a significant influence and control over the pharmaceutical industry through their trusts, foundations, and business connections. Okay, while there may not be definitive proof, petrochemicals and pharmaceuticals, funding of medical research, management and ownership of pharmaceutical companies, and connections to government agencies and policymakers. As a result, Rockefeller's been able to exert control over the production and distribution of these products and the industry as a whole. Okay, so now we're going to move on to, well, let me show this. I show you this, and I'm going to put this up on for you guys to see. No, Carol, that was Lena. That wasn't Gina. I'm sorry. Kind of sounds like Gina, though, huh? All right. I'm going to put this out there for you guys to see, giving you guys the... All right, so here's the global data banner. I'm trying to get you the... I'm going to have to put it up. I'll make it for you, though, so you guys can see the... I think I made it earlier and I just didn't put it out there. So there's the website for that I just did, globaldata.com. You guys can just go to globaldata.com, and then it's companies and top companies by sector. So you can look at it like that. There's another one here. Let's see. No, that's not that. Search results. Okay, so this is another website. This particular website is Dimes. Okay, so dimes.rockarch.org. Okay, and more specifically, this one right here is this website right here. Okay, so this is interesting for you guys to see because it's an online collection of catalog of the Rockefeller Archive Center. Now, what says privacy with nothing more than a whole bunch of charitable organization opportunities for people? So you look at some of these things. It's Rockefeller Foundation records, Rockefeller Family Papers, Rockefeller Archive Center, Rockefeller Junior Papers, Ford Foundation records, Nelson Rockefeller Papers, Jackson Hole Preserve Incorporated, China Medical Board records, John R. Camp Papers, John D. Rockefeller Senior Papers, Rockefeller Brothers Fund records. These are all documents that relate. Look at this, Trilateral Commission North America. Nobody's hiding anything here. I mean, you guys can go and look at any of this stuff. It shows the objective of the Trilateral Commission is to foster discussion and cooperation among the core democratic industrialized areas of the world. David Rockefeller defined the Commission's primary focus as bringing the best brains in the world to bear on the problems of the future. So the things we haven't created yet, we're bringing the best brains on the world on how to present them to people because this is how we handle stuff. You guys will see that this is what charitable trusts are set up on. They're predicated upon. And with wisdom, charitable trusts are very powerful. You can do a lot of things and influence a lot of things with when you have funds coming in or when you don't have any penalties when you're giving funds for purposes. So if you guys, I mean, all this stuff is here. You can see what's available to you. Records more than 15 years are open for research with select materials restricted as noted. So it tells you in the archives what's restricted and if anything is. You can make other requests as well. And then it gives you related terms. Look at these. Nuclear disarmament, nuclear arms control. Like this is under somebody's private trust. You guys get that? Do you guys get the relationship? Somebody created a private trust and then they created all these other trusts that are subcategories of this trust, and they created a website that keeps track of all these things. And now they have all these collections that are available as public record for anyone that's interested in it. You can even email their archive at rockarch.org. So like, here's how to access and request materials. You guys, like what I'm telling you is that the information for the questions that you have in regards to the things that are happening are right here. If you want to get a hold of people to have questions answered, then you need to, you guys, many of you have your status, have fixed your status and what you've corrected and you know how to stand on that. If you haven't, then you guys, you have work to do, but it's just a matter of educating yourself, and you can't just go do something without knowing what you're doing. So, get involved in learning what exactly has happened so you can become a participant and get involved in correcting what is a mistake, if it is a mistake. And part of it is knowing if it is. I mean, some people are saying like, you know what? No, I don't think that's a mistake. I really need somebody to take care of me. And most people are not. When you find out, they say, okay, no. I want to take care of this. If I would have known, I would have loved to have had the opportunity to do this. And that's all I'm doing for you guys is offering you the opportunity to learn where to go look to get answers for things that you need, okay? Anything you need. You can sort by relevance. You can search by name. You can search by types, collections, people, organizations. It's all right here. Like, seriously, you guys can go and look this up. So the top pharmaceuticals are right there, okay? Now we're going to discuss, moving on, we're going to discuss this. So this is the protocols of, this is the document, and I'm going to give you guys, I'll give you guys a copy of this document. It'll be in the, I'll somehow figure out how to upload it or whatever, or upload a location or put it into put it into the website. So I'm going to talk about some things. We're not really going to, I mean, if I have to cite it or whatever, I can reference it. But the Protocols of the Meeting of Zionist Men of Wisdom is a document that sparked endless debate and fascination and a lot of controversy. And we're going to go into the contentious highlights and the controversial aspects that relate to today's age. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, the authenticity of this document. So it alleges to be a blueprint for global domination by a secretive Jewish cabal. And it claims to have been debunked, dismissed, and derided by reputable scholars and historians as a forgery of the early 20th century. But it also managed to persist in the darkest corners of conspiracy theories, much like uninvited guest who refuses to leave a party. One of the central tenets of the protocols is the concept of manipulating global markets and governments to achieve control. In today's age was the advent of multinational corporations and financial globalization. One might argue that the lines between conspiracy and reality blur. The influence of megacorporations over international policies and economic echoes the document's themes. However, attributing such complexities to singular nefarious plot oversimplifies the multifaceted nature of global power dynamics. Another strikingly contentious point is the alleged control of the media to shape the public opinion. In the era where fake news and media bias are hot topics, it's easy to see how much ideas can gain traction. And the protocol's suggestion of media manipulation resonates with those skeptical of mainstream narratives. But we got to consider the diverse and often conflicting media landscape that exists today, which hardly aligns with the notion of monolithic control. The protocol's depiction of political puppetry, where leaders are mere marionettes of shadowy figures, finds an eerie reflection in modern political cynicism. Populist movements and the distrust of political elites feed into this narrative. However, the reality is far more nuanced. The interplay of political power, public sentiment, and individual agency can't be condensed into simplistic tale of manipulation. The document's emphasis on financial dominance through debt and economic control strikes a chord in a world plagued by economic inequality. The idea of a hidden hand controlling wealth distribution is a tantalizing theory for those disillusioned by the status quo. Yet attributing systemic economic issues to a clandestine plot rather than recognizing them as a result of historical, social, and economic factors is a misstep that simplifies complex realities. At its core, the protocol serves as a scapegoat for societal fears and anxieties. Blaming a hidden cabal for the world's woes offers a convenient, albeit fictional, explanation for complex issues. Although these fictional issues are up to the eye of the holder, this phenomenon persists today as people seek easy answers to an increasingly complicated world. Conclusively, the protocols of the meeting of the Zionist Men of Wisdom, whether viewed as historical curiosity or cautionary tale, is relevant to their ability to provide thought and debate. And it reminds us of the dangers of scapegoating the allure without investigating theories or conspiracies, without making them conspiracy theories in times of uncertainty. As we navigate the complexities of the modern world, let us do so with a discerning eye and critical mind, recognizing that the truth is often more intricate. No, the truth isn't more intricate than fiction. The truth is way more simple than fiction. So I want to talk also a little bit more in depth. We're going to talk about key details. So the protocols, the original protocols in this particular document was published in 1905, okay, in Russia. And it was based on, allegedly, on earlier documents created by the French satirist Maurice Joly, Maurice Joly. Despite widespread condemnation as a forgery, and investigative journalists like Will Eisner and Norman Cohn, Cohn, have suggested that certain elements reflect genuine historical events and plans. And you can, this is all of this is in this particular document. The documents from the Russian state archives indicate that Tsarist secret police used the protocols to incite anti-Semitic sentiments and justify oppressive policies. This historical use of the document suggests a pattern of leveraging conspiracy theories for political gain. So there they are. The own perpetrators are using it for personal gain. Modern reinterpretations of this are scholars like Cesar G. de Michaelis. It's Cesare. G is the middle initial. De Michaelis is DE space Michelis, have argued that while the protocols as a whole are fabricated, again, their opposition, some strategies outlined within align with real actions taken by influential groups, including the Rothschilds in manipulating financial markets and political events. So let's say, okay, well, the protocols are totally fabricated, except they just match up exactly what these people are doing. That's what that just said. Okay, just for anybody that was wondering, that's order from chaos right there. Like, you just created order from a bunch of chaos. That makes no sense at all. If you go along with it, then you could call that order, but that's what this new order is about. It's order out of chaos, and it's right there on the bill. You guys look on your federal debt note. The Rothschild has been a focal point of discussions about global financial power, and their involvement in the banking institution and their strategic placements afforded significant influence over global economic policies and crisis. Investment strategies and investigative reports have highlighted the Rothschild strategic investments in industries poised to benefit from crisis. For example, Rothschild and Company Financial Group's annual reports reveal significant investments in biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies in the years leading up to the pandemic. It's in this as well. You guys can look in both the website that I just showed you. Okay, so for sources, dimes.rockarch.org. And I'll put that back up again. I'm going to show that just so I'm not taking anybody else's material, and you guys can see, like, it's right there. Okay, this is where this comes from. What I'm telling you is from this, and it's also from this right here. Okay, so global data, all of this information, I'm showing you citations for all of it. All right, so again, this is for educational purposes only. No, none of this is advice to do anything. It's just letting you know facts that remain so you can make good decisions in your accounting for the future. Okay, so let's be accountable for the future on our own, because we are the people, right? Okay, so moving on. These scholars, we debunked what the scholars are saying, because you can't really say, hey, you know what? These guys, there's no way. They're really nice people. They're philanthropists. They're doing great things to help people. Well, it is kind of just like the fraud where they did in Germany, isn't it? But no, they would never do that. They would never do that. They're not that type. See, we're dismissing that, but we're missing the facts. And people that are missing the facts are missing it on purpose, so that because what's happening is their pockets are being padded. They're padded or being pocketed. Their pads are being pocketed. No, their pockets are being padded with promissory things, like promises. I will gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today. So that's what they're doing. Anyway, the investigative reports, again, showed that they benefit from these things. Now, I don't believe in this, folks. I seriously don't believe it. I think it's just a stage. Everything you see is a stage. It's not, I truly don't believe like anything. I don't believe any of this stuff. I believe when I see righteous stuff happen, I believe that. Like when I saw Tennessee skies clear up, I believe that. I also heard from somebody very recently that, well, maybe this was that they hadn't seen a lot of these things in the up in the blue in their state in a while, and that was in Texas. So that's a good thing, man. That's awesome. I love that. So I mean, I don't know, like there's a lot of things going on, guys and gals, and there's people. I know there's people out there that are showing equity, and they're coming as the people, and they know what they're doing, and they're making grounds on this stuff. And you guys, all you see is like, oh yeah, look that, and you don't hear about it. No one is going to come out and tell you guys, hey, by the way, they just did this wonderful, amazing thing. They're not dropping metal on people anymore from this. So I mean, when you hear that, it's like, whoa, really? Wow, that's really nice of people to not do that. Oh wow, yeah. Treat your neighbor the way that you want to be treated, right? Yeah, here's a bunch of barium and aluminum. Yeah, go take a bath in that. Do you guys realize that barium and aluminum are the things that they claim to? Well, I'm just going to say, like, this is what is alleged to have be dispersed into the atmosphere, and so let's go to the metal table, okay, where elements are. Let's go to the elements table, and barium, that element symbol would be Ba, right? And aluminum, that symbol would be Al for aluminum. So you put barium and aluminum together and you have BaAl. Barium and aluminum. Isn't that nice? Whoa, there's no accidents, folks. There is no accidents. Everything is these people don't make mistakes, I promise. And everything's right there. Like when you start peeling back the things, you're like looking at everything being symbolic. I was watching something today. Remember what it was. It was a video, and it happened to be on something with the future, what they were doing with the future something, and I was looking right at it, and the symbol that they had was an 8-pointed star. I was like, well, I'll be doggone. And right behind it, they had the Statue of Liberty, all the points coming out of the top of the Statue of Liberty. I was like, they're not hiding anything, are they? They just don't even care. Like, and I mean, maybe it was never anything to me before when I looked at it, but you start looking at that 8 points, and that's no good, no bueno. So the whistleblower Edward Snowden, I don't buy this. I think again it's been put out there, but he provided documents suggesting major financial institutions, including ones to the Rothschilds, were aware and prepared for economic disruptions before the pandemic. You know what I tell you, folks? When you're dealing with people that are dropping Ba and Al on your head, they are not going to provide you. Well, they're going to give you notice, but they're going to give you notice. This is equitable notice, folks. Like, this is it. Like someone that says, even if it's a third party that says, hey, these people are doing this. Well, as long as the people just let them live around them and be a part of the community and do what they're doing, like you're just approving, right? I mean, that's just reality. I'm not telling anyone to do anything negative at all. I'm just telling you to be informed and know that that exists only because, well, you guys made it possible. Like, you're consenting. You're becoming a member, like a gym. Like you belong to Gold's Gym. And in Gold's Gym, they don't let you walk around. Well, they don't let me walk around with a thong because I tried it once. No, I didn't really try it. But, you know, I'm just saying, like, there's rules when you walk into Gold's Gym. You can't just do what you want to do. G string out of there and your E, A, D, G, and B string too. But it's just whatever, you know. I mean, we create these things that are contracts that we belong to something, and we don't even know what we really belong to. And when they say, "Hey, by the way, you remember that due that you had?" and you're like, "Due? Do I have sweat on my forehead?" No, the dues you had, the because you're a serf now. Now that you're serfdom, welcome to serfdom. The dues that you have, you got to pay your piper to live where you're living. You got to pay taxes, man. I'm letting you live. Like, I'm giving you the benefit of life. Like, nobody here's killed you, right? That's the benefit of life, my friend. When you become a member, now you get to live. See what kind of good deal I'm giving you. I give you good deal here. And you don't even have to do anything except, well, your responsible stuff. And you get to live. Imagine that. See, do you want to trust somebody else to tell you that? Or do you want to live on your own? Because there's a whole life out there to just make choices with if we want. And it's just a matter of what we want, guys. We're not don't be dishonest in your dealings. No one's ever going to stop and tell you you're a bad person or you're this or you're that. Maybe ignorant people might. But as long as you follow your heart and as long as you do honest things and tell people what you're doing before you do it, especially when you've gotten in contracts and deals with them before, you'll be fine. There's no worries. Don't become like the surety ship, okay? Don't be Lena. Don't Lena on Mia, okay? So you guys create your own, like, existence. And when you do, it's beautiful. Like, there's no adoptions. It's not like, hey, yeah, I got my hair just like that. Well, what do you mean just like that? Why don't you get it just like you love it? Like, not because someone else does. And when all these things go, when everybody around you is no longer around you anymore, guess what? All that stuff doesn't even matter. It's gone. So, like, we spend like 99.9% of the time in this physical world trying to chase this next physical thing that doesn't even exist, and all of our energy is being wasted on that seeking that thing that doesn't exist, or that thing that it's like temporary. It's like the only way that I can explain it to you guys is if I told you to take a flashlight. Okay, I'm going to show you a visual because I've never done this on the video. I'm going to change this up really quick. So you take a flashlight, okay? You shine the flashlight on your hand, okay? And you do the little duck things. Okay, so pretend this is the flashlight. Let's see. Okay, so pretend this is a flashlight. I'm shining a flashlight, okay? I'm doing duck things, okay? Or I'm making a duck or something like on the wall, okay? And behind me is the reflection of the wall, okay? Let's pretend. All right. So what is happening in reality, okay, is that you are actually the hand, okay? Or let's say this, okay? The people that let's just say you're the light, okay? That's the best way to do it. Say you're the light. The people that you're contracting with are the hand, okay? So they're the animal, the little animal. But when you're looking at the animal, you only see the reflection of the light of the animal, okay? The reflection of the light of the animal is the corporation, okay? So on the wall, when you're flashing a flashlight, this is the actual, like, this is a man or a woman that you sit down at a table with, okay? And then the reflection on the wall is the corporation. So in personam, and the reflection on the wall is in rem. That's the thing versus the person. And those are the differences between the two. So I hope that helps you guys. You guys, give me just 2 seconds. I'm gonna pause real quick here, and I'll be right back. Okay, my apologies. I had to make sure that I had a pup that was good to go back there. He's just playing with the dog next door, so we're all good. Anyway, so the things that we run into, and I'll get back here to, we've got other things that we're still going to go over here, but we're creating in this corporate world, we're creating things that are they're just reflections of the original being, okay? So a man is born into a world and then becomes affiliated with paperwork that makes it corporate, and that's the only affiliation. There's two places, two roles that are played there. There's the man, that's the person, okay? The man, which is the living flesh being, and then there's the representation of what that man is, which is the reflection on the wall. So the man and then the reflection of the man. And that is the alternative personality they call, or what they call a straw man. It's been labeled as that. You guys will be labeled as sovereign citizens if you use that language. So the best thing to do is to learn equitable terms. And when you're explaining that, I have a whole course that we go over when we teach you guys that. And it's the whole, like, knowing what to say. You know, you guys are private civilians, but you got to know where you fit. You got to know where you don't fit, because if you tell them, hey, I'm not under this, as long we can do whatever you want, but as long as we're under here, you got to direct and you got to know who you are, because that's where we get taken when we don't comprehend our authority. When we don't know who we are, then we end up acquiescing to things. And if you guys are discriminated by anything, it is your obligation and your duty to stand up and assert that right. Otherwise, you waive it. It's stated all over in different places, okay? But I'm going to tell you the Corona Rothschild protocols that we talked about here, getting back to this, is the theory that suggests that this family had a deliberate role in the creation of whatever this was, okay? And it's supported by documents, patents, financial records, etc. But I'm here to tell you right now that these things don't happen unless someone puts it out there and then other people believe it, okay? Have you ever seen anything that people didn't believe in right away? Like things that people don't believe in, it doesn't ever happen. But when people collaborate and start believing in things, then you can see things change. And I'm going to tell you guys, like, have you ever analyzed deeper the Mandela effect? Because that's really what that is. It's a neutral event. It's not discriminatory. It's not okay, hold on just a second. Kay, I just saw your message. I'll have to get back with you, but I will comment on that, and maybe I'll even talk about that. I don't know what today is. Today's Thursday, so I won't talk about it tomorrow, but maybe I'll make it another. Yeah, I can definitely talk about that. I don't know what the bill was, but it's just a bill. Remember, these things are placed there to get people to relax. Like, just, there's a lot of things going on, guys. There's a lot. There's so much going on. There's a lot of equity going on. There's a lot of revelations coming out still, and this stuff is still going to keep coming out. You guys are going to see, like, people, like the stuff you've seen with, you know, people coming out and saying things, and when they're grabbing at, businesses are grabbing at actors, okay, so people that are paid, okay. Now I want to say actors. Let's preface that, okay, because actors. I want to say actors. So actors are they're spiritual beings that instead of using their abilities to be with their creator, they utilize their abilities, which are spiritual, to pass energies through and express these energies that don't belong to them, in order to convey messages that could be, and very well are often perceived as, propaganda. So scrutiny is justified by the actions that, well, it's hard to say that, somebody getting involved in something decades before didn't have an intention to use that when it was done a decade before. It's not just by chance, especially when you look at these lineages of people. One of the things you guys will find interesting about this particular family is that you can go back into records and look in. You can go way back into records, okay? And some of these are not available anymore to us, but there's other records out there. There's 1890. There's a lot of, let's see, I can show you guys. I was looking at the screen here. Oh, I can just put the screen back up there. There it is. So, I'm looking at these different things that exist on here. I don't know, Abby Rockefeller Maze. I don't know who some of these are, Abby Aldrich. I wonder if that's the same one, Abby and Abby, just different married names. I don't know. So you guys, there's a lot of information that's out there. I haven't really gone through all this, but you can see what's available, and you can see, like, what do you want to learn about? Do you want to learn anything about them? I don't really have a desire to, but if you want to go back and find out things that, are relative to, or their connections with some of this stuff to verify it, then it's right there for you to do it. So corporate registries and financial disclosures uncovered a lot of companies and trusts that were linked to that family, and they hold a lot of stake. Like I said, the demand, the protocols demand a thorough and unbiased investigation. They really, they deserve more than what they've gotten. When you've got patent filings, you've got clear financial decisions made, you've got insider testimonies, you've got documentations and recordations, that warrants a reexamination of anybody in anybody in their involvement in events globally, especially when it comes to questionability of people's survival. When you dismiss the connections as just like conspiracy, well, you undermine the concerns raised by people that have legitimate concerns. And the other part that I'm going to really touch on, that's probably the most important part, and I'm going to tell you guys, I want to show you, I'm going to look this up because I haven't done this before, but I'm looking for I want to show you guys in the scripture, okay? Job chapter 3, verse 3, okay? So I'm going to show you guys this. It says, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night which it was said, there is a man-child conceived. Okay, you see that? Right there? Okay, so this is the King James Version. We're going to go to, let's look at all English. Okay, so right here it says conceived, 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 conceived. This one doesn't say conceived. A night when my parents created a son. Okay, that is basically conceived. Conceived. This says, I wish the day I was born would be lost forever. I wish the night they said it's a boy had never happened. So this is saying of birth, of the day of birth. Forget the day of my birth. Forget the night when a son was born to my parents. Okay, born here is more than one definition. All right. May the day of my birth perish, and the night when it was said a child has been conceived. So this is conceived. Okay. So a man is conceived, a boy is born, and this says conceived in parentheses. The man is conceived, a boy is born, it's a boy, a man is conceived. Most of them are conceived, okay? Because the original version was conceived. Now you have another version that was taken into the Roe versus Wade case, okay? And this version was a version that, not a virgin, not a virgin, version. And this version involved Jane Roe, a fictional name used in a court document to protect the plaintiff's identity. Jane Roe was never, she came out and said she was never, ever abused. Let's go look at that. I mean, how about that? Let's see. So here's the Washington Post. Jane Roe recants rape claim. The woman whose case prompted the landmark Supreme Court decision legalizing abortion says she falsely claimed to have been raped in hopes of winning an exemption from Texas law banning the operation. The new account by Norma McCorvey, who was called Jane Roe in the 1973 case, Roe versus Wade, came during an interview with USA TV. The station released a partial transcript last night. Quote, I found out I was pregnant, though what I thought was love. I told the doctor that I wanted an abortion, that I did not want to carry the child for economic reasons. Despite her claim to have been raped, she was unable to obtain an abortion. McCorvey had the child, which was given up for adoption. She said, repeated the rape story later because she was bitter, very bitter, in her own words, and then allowed two lawyers to take her case to the Supreme Court. Rape was never an issue in the Supreme Court case, in which justices declared that women have a constitutional right on abortion to demand. McCorvey's lead lawyer in the case, Sarah Weddington, said the issue of rape had no bearing on the outcome. McCorvey and Weddington for the documentary Searching for Justice, 3 American Stories, to be broadcast Sunday evening. Now, let's go and look up this. Let's ask this a question. How many babies were aborted per year as a result of Roe versus Wade? Okay. Let's see. USA Facts. Let's try this. So let's look at 2021. Reported abortions, 625,000. So let's round it off to 1 million a year, folks. Okay. Let's not, I mean, you know, why? Why not? Why not? It's just babies, right? Let's round it off to 1 million per year. So now we have 1 million a year based upon this right here. Some lady's recanted claim. Okay. This is the kind of crap that is placed out there. It's put out there for people to see so that you're like, oh, yeah, no. You know how many people got on this lady's side? And it's somebody giving her a story and telling her this is what you need to do. We'll protect you. Don't worry. You need to just go out and do this. And she does it. She's controlled opposition. And she's doing basically everything that people are telling her to. Well, she wants a thing, and they want a thing too, and so they share that. You know, they share that mutual benefit, I guess, if you call it that. Well, all these other people. Now, here's the catch. Here's the big catch. Okay. Here's the big catch. I'm going to just tell you guys. Okay, the big catch is that, and I'm going to go back to I'll go back to the screen. So the big catch here, and this is what's really going to hurt people in their heart, is that each one of these living beings has a title, a legal title that was created that was supposed to be a part of well, their existence while they're here, during their time while they're here. And when these lives are made or created and then they are aborted, it is life. It is life. The way that they look at it, it is life. And they create a certificate for that life. And then they get rid of that life. And then they get rid of that certificate through the accounting. And that's what is called the probate of an estate. When someone passes, when someone loses their life and goes on, they move on to a new place. Give me just a second, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys and gals. So, and I'll remove that part. Okay, so let's see. Am I saying that these actors? Okay, so I'll show you guys what Kay showed. So Kay said, or am I saying that actors have spiritual contracts that need to be fulfilled from past ancestral contracts? Okay, I'm saying that well, let's just say this. I'm going to say this, okay? I don't really, there's so much I could go into your question on and elaborate on, but I'm going to say just the basic details. And the basic details are this, that we all hear because we have, like we've agreed. I believe we've agreed to all being here before we got here. I think that other people agree to come here. But then when people intervene and say, no, I don't want this thing that God created, then that spiritual being is terminated without, like, they don't get a choice. And that might be part of the journey. That may be part of that journey. I'm just saying that what I'm saying is that what has been created here is a story that someone made up that used to their advantage so that they could capitalize on that. And now what they're doing is using these certificates that are made up when people are birthed into this membership, and they're using these. Now, here's the thing. You guys don't want to, don't not get it. That's the whole thing. You're supposed to have it. It's just being used the wrong way. So it's not like some hex thing. It's not some devil worshiping product. It is a legitimate title to something that was created, that was intended for you. But you got to fix the paradigm. And once you realize that what you were before all of this stuff went wrong, and it's not just you, it was like your family before you, and no one's doing this stuff right. We all just, like, everyone handed everybody a 1040 and people started signing them and sending them off. Okay, this is what you got to do. Okay, if you don't get it done, then they're going to threaten you and take all your stuff. Okay, well, where do I sign? And that's really how it came to it. Once you guys be out there for everyone to see. And we're going to go over more stories like this. I'm going to be putting some stuff together so you guys can have all of your questions answered and such. And, you know, Kay, I appreciate your input. If you guys have questions or suggestions, put them into the comments, and I will definitely address those things. So I appreciate you guys very much. You have an amazing day, and I will talk to you soon.